Hey guys, today I want to walk you through a standing seam install. I want to talk to you about the accessory metals, the choice of underlayments, and show you how these panels actually get installed. So the project we're on right now is a new construction home. It's a single family home. It's 1 and 2 story. Now the first layer of underlayment I decided to use was 30-pound felt. I wanted to do this so that as the different trades were walking over the 30-pound felt, if they were to damage it, and they did, we're able to repair it much easier than using a peel and stick underlayment. So we're able to clean the 30-pound felt. Right now we have the peel and stick over top of the 30. This makes for a cleaner install. Now that we're installing the panels, we're not working over old 30-pound felt. Now the number one thing we're faced with on this project or any new construction project that's a 1 and 2 story is a delay in time. So we have to do a temporary drying at some point so that the trades working below the roof are watertight so they can keep moving forward. But at the same time, we've got to protect the roof from the different trades that are working from the roof surface. So the delay in time, we've got to figure out what we're going to do. And in this case, we decided to install a 30-pound felt so that everyone could work on a temporary waterproofing protective underlayment. Now I want to talk to you briefly about the different accessory metals and the importance of these accessory metals. Obviously, when it rains, you have rain coming from the top, working its way down, but during the installation process, you actually have to start from the bottom and work your way up. Now, the first accessory metal I want to talk to you about is the Bullnose drip edge and the importance of the Bullnose drip edge. Now, the drip edge covers the fascia, but it also goes up above where your plywood is. The drip edge helps so that water doesn't wick behind your fascia. It's very important that your drip edge is nailed off properly, because in a standing seam application, what's being applied today, the panels actually connect to the Bullnose drip edge and it gets secured to that drip. So if the drip is not secured properly in a high wind scenario, your standing seam panels could potentially blow off. Once the Bullnose drip edge is attached to the roof surface, we put a sealant across the top, and that just keeps water from getting behind the fascia in the event we get rain during the installation process. Now what you're looking at right now is the Bullnose drip edge. Now once the Bullnose drip edge is attached, the standing seam comes down the top of the Bullnose drip edge, and then it folds tight to the underside of it, making the standing seam secure along the perimeter of the home. The next accessory I want to talk to you about is the wall flashing. So the wall flashing, I'm actually using 2 layers. The first layer is attached tight to the roof. The stucco stop is installed just above that wall flashing so that the stucco company had a crisp, clean line to follow. The next layer of flashing that you're going to see here in a little bit is going to be installed after the standing seam panels are installed, and that gives us a 2-layer system of flashing. A lot of roofers today will use 1 layer of flashing. It simply goes up against the wall tight and then runs out over your standing seam panels. Unfortunately, in a wind-driven rain incident, water can get up underneath that 1 layer. So we're using 2 layers of flashing along all these roof-to-wall locations. Okay, now I wanted to bring you up on the roof to show you what the wall flashing detail actually looks like. So what I'm pointing to right now is the base layer of flashing that is nailed tight to the roof, comes up to the wall and stops. Above that, we have the stucco stop. The stucco stop makes a clean line for the stucco company to follow. This is actually going to allow us to pull this out and slide the second layer of flashing behind the stucco stop. And then that second layer of flashing will now then go over top of the standing seam panel. The next accessory I want to talk to you about is the valley. Now, valley has 2 components. It actually has the valley where it extends out past the fascia, keeping water from wicking back behind the drip edge and rotting out the fascia prematurely. There's also what's called a valley cleat, and the valley cleat acts as the bullnose drip edge basically, so that the valleys can hem over, crimp, and seal tight to the valleys. So it's important that your valley cleat is installed properly as well, because once again, in a high wind incident, that valley could lift. Now the standing seam panel is just like the bullnose drip edge. The panels come down and they hem back and crimp tight to this valley cleat. For the same reason that the bullnose drip edge is installed, the valley cleat is installed, keeping these panels from lifting up again during a high wind scenario. The next thing I want to show you are these clips. Now in this case, these are stainless steel clips as well as stainless steel screws. Now, as the next panel comes over and it gets installed, it's going to go over this. When we seam the panels together, this interlocks with the panel, making this the best standing seam roof system you can purchase. All right, what I want to show you next is the Z flashing at the roof to wall location. Now, when we install this next layer, we have the Z in place so that the flashing goes behind the stucco stop, out over the panel and the Z, and then interlocks on this side of the Z so that it is secure. Now this piece you're looking at right now is the hip. It can be referred to as a hip cap or just cap in general. This is the last accessory that goes on once the standing seam roof panels are in place. And right before this cap or trim piece gets installed, we install the Z flashing. The Z flashing allows for a cleaner appearance when you're looking up the roof. You're not looking into a dark hole. It's a finished trim that finishes off the roof.